Hello and thank you for joining us for the introductory video of our TypeScript series. In the last video, we have seen the topics which we are going to learn in this series. So let's understand each topic one by one. So first, I'll talk on introduction. What is TypeScript? TypeScript is a free and open source high level programming language developed by Microsoft in October 2012 that adds extra functionality to JavaScript. It means TypeScript is a JavaScript with extra features that make coding easier to read, easier to write, and easier to maintain. And the latest version of TypeScript is TypeScript 5.5 was released on June 2024. And next we can say TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript, which means any valid JavaScript code is also a valid TypeScript code. Talking about extension, TypeScript files use the .ts extension rather than the .js extension of JavaScript files. And last, TypeScript has a significant drawback. It is not directly supported by browser, which only execute JavaScript. So in order to run TypeScript code, first we need to convert TypeScript code into JavaScript. TypeScript built on top of JavaScript. First, you write the TypeScript code, then you can compile TypeScript code into the plain JavaScript code using a TypeScript compiler. And then once you have a plain JavaScript code, you can deploy it to any environment that JavaScript runs. Next, we'll understand why should we use TypeScript. TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript which primarily provides optional static typing classes and interfaces. Next, TypeScript also implements the future features of JavaScript like ECMAScript updates, optional chaining, etc. And third, TypeScript adds type to the JavaScript and helps you to avoid potential bugs that occur at runtime. The TypeScript name implies that we can define the type of variable or a function. If not, TypeScript automatically defines the type based on the assigned value. And last, TypeScript is widely adopted in popular JavaScript frameworks such as Angular, React, Vue, Next, offering optional static typing and enhanced code maintainability. Now we will understand the difference between TypeScript and JavaScript. Basically, TypeScript and JavaScript are both programming language used for web development. But here we can find some differences. TypeScript is referred to as an object-oriented programming language. On the other hand, JavaScript is a prototype-based scripting language. Compiled language and interpreted language means TypeScript always points out the compilation error at the time of development. Because of this, getting runtime errors is less likely, whereas JavaScript is an interpreted language. Next difference is TypeScript has a feature known as a static typing, but JavaScript does not support this feature. On the other hand, JavaScript has a feature known as dynamic typing. And the last difference is TypeScript supports optional parameter, REST parameter, interfaces, generic, etc. Whereas JavaScript doesn't support optional parameter, REST parameter, interfaces, and so on. That we will see later. Next, let's understand the prerequisite for setting up the TypeScript environment. So there are 5 steps we need to follow to start with TypeScript. And first step is Node.js. Node.js is the environment in which you will run the TypeScript compiler. So in order to install Node.js, go to the nodejs.org website and download the latest version of Node.js. And after download, you have to install the Node.js in your system, and you can check the version of Node.js with command node-version. Next, we need npm, Node Package Manager. So you don't need to install npm separately. It will install along with Node.js. So once you install Node.js, you can check the version of npm along with Node with command npm-version. Next, we need the TypeScript compiler. So for that, we need to hit command npm space install space -g space TypeScript. With this command, we can install the TypeScript compiler, and also you can check the version of TypeScript compiler with command tsc space -v. Next, we need a Visual Studio Code editor. So this Visual Studio Code editor supporting TypeScript and Visual Studio Code is highly recommended. However, you can use your favorite editor. So you can download Visual Studio Code from code.visualstudio.com website. And last, you need basic understanding of JavaScript if you want to learn TypeScript. So once you're done with environment setup, you can create your first TypeScript program. So for that, first you need to create a new TypeScript file with .ts extension, and then type the tsc space file name command on the terminal to compile the file. For example, tsc space demo.file. This is your file name. And if everything is fine, you will see a new file called demo.js is generated by TypeScript compiler. And finally, type the node space file name command on the terminal to run the file, like node space demo.js, and you can see the output. Okay, so now I'll open Visual Studio Code editor and we will continue from there. So here inside Visual Studio Code, I'll open the terminal with Control plus backtick. And here, first we will check the version of Node, NPM, and TypeScript because I have already installed Node.js and TypeScript in my system, and I am using the Visual Studio Code editor. Okay, so first I'll check the Node version. For that, I'll write node space -v. You can see the version 20.16.0. And now I'll check the npm version with command npm space -v. You can see the version 9.6.7. And in order to install TypeScript, we need to hit command npm install -g for global and TypeScript. So with the help of this command, you can install TypeScript in your system. But I have already installed TypeScript in my system. So we can check the version of TypeScript with tsc space -v. And here you can see the version of TypeScript is 5.6.0. I'll just increase the font and now you can see. So it means our environment setup is ready to start with TypeScript. Okay. So I'll hide this terminal and I'll open the Explorer. And one more thing, if you are also using Visual Studio Code Editor, you can install the Live Server extension to speed up the development process. This Live Server extension allows you to launch a development local web server with the hot reload feature. To install the Live Server extension, click on this extension tab. To find the extension, type here Live Server, and you need to click on the install button to install the Live Server. So I have already installed. That is why I can see the uninstall button. Okay. It means once you make any changes in your code and after saving it, the browser will auto refresh itself. No need to refresh the page. It updates automatically. Okay. Now we have everything to get started with learning TypeScript. So let's begin with a simple Hello World program. Here you can see I have already created one folder with name complete TypeScript, and this folder will contain all the files for this tutorial. Now let's create a first TypeScript file with name demo.ts. Okay, and here I'll declare one variable with let message equals to hello world, and I'll log this message. That's it. Okay. The next step is to compile this file to plain JavaScript using TypeScript compiler. Because in order to run the TypeScript code, first we need to convert it or compile it to the plain JavaScript code. And the command for compilation is tsc space file name. So I'll open terminal again, cls, and here I'll write command .tsc followed by file name demo.ts, and this .ts extension is optional. So this command creates a file demo.js which contains the transpiled code. So I'll hit enter, and here you can see demo.js file has created. And the variable declaration has modified from let to var. In .ts file, we have declared with let keyword, and in demo.js file, it has modified with var keyword. Now the next step is to run the code, and as of now, to run the code, we don't really need browser. We can make use of Node with command node space file name. So here you can write node followed by file name. In our case, demo.js. Again, here extension is not mandatory. Hit enter, and you can see the output hello world. So this is our first TypeScript program. But you notice we are getting an error in demo.ts file, and you can see the error on over of this message, and it is saying cannot declare block scope variable message. And it happens because TypeScript treats this file as a script rather than module. A module has its own scope, whereas a script share the global scope. In order to resolve this error, we need to add the export statement at the top, which exports nothing. So here I'll add export with empty curly braces. And by adding this export statement, TypeScript treats this file as a module instead of script. After that, let's compile this file again with tsc demo.ts. Before I hit enter, you can see the demo.js file. There is no export statement. And once I hit enter, you can see the error has been resolved, and also the changes are reflected in the demo.js file. But here, if you notice, after doing any changes in demo.ts file, we need to compile this file in order to run the JavaScript file. To skip this compilation step for every change, we can use command tsc space file name demo space hyphen hyphen what. So we can use this command to automatically recompile demo.ts changes. Okay, hit enter. And now here you can see the compilation is in watch mode. Now, if you do any changes on demo.ts file and save the changes, then compiler automatically creates a JavaScript file with new code changes. So what I'll do, I'll change this message with welcome to FED learning. And now I'll save the changes. And inside demo.js file, you can see welcome to FED learning. Because of that watch mode, it has automatically recompiled, and the same change is reflected in demo.js file. Okay, now I'll open the another terminal, and inside that I'll run this code with node space demo. And now you can see the output welcome to FAD learning. Okay, but this time we skipped the compilation step. Now, one more thing I wanted to show you. If you want to run this code on browser, then create one file with name index.html. With HTML template, I'll add here, and inside body, I'll add one script tag, and inside this script, I'll add demo.js file. And here I'll add one heading, complete TypeScript. Okay, so here we need to add the demo.js file because browser can understand only JavaScript, not TypeScript. I'll save the changes, and I'll click on this go live option so that it will automatically run your code on browser. Here you can see complete TypeScript. Now I'll open the developer tool, and here you can see we are getting error, uncaught reference error, export is not defined. Okay. So as of now, I'll comment this line and now save the changes. And here you can see the output. Welcome to FED Learning. Okay. Now I'll show you once you do any changes on this TypeScript file, what will happen. Okay. Here, instead of this message, I'll write another message. Please like, share, and subscribe to FED Learning. Okay. I'll save these changes. And now you can see after saving same file, the compiler will automatically modify .js file with new changes. And once the JavaScript file updates, live server extension will auto refresh your browser. Now I'll open the browser. I'll comment this line. And now here you can see the live server extension will auto refresh browser. And we can see the updated message. So hope you understand. This time, no more manual recompilation and browser refreshing needed for every change. Okay, so that's it for introduction. And we will meet again in the next video with our second topic, that is variable declaration of TypeScript. Thank you for watching and supporting FED Learning. Bye bye.